Okay, so today we are talking about how to overcome the fears that are preventing us from reaching that next level of financial abundance. This is such a huge topic for so many people, a huge thing that they're just trying to work through and figure out. So I'm really excited to jump into this today. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Jen Casey. I'm a business strategy coach and I teach online entrepreneurs, specifically those in the wellness field, how to go from social media to sales and build thriving online businesses. And a huge piece of building a thriving online business is this mindset piece, this idea of being able to believe in yourself, to overcoming these blocks that we have going on, and to be okay with discomfort. So that's why we're talking about this today. My business partner Angie and I, we have a program called the Wellpreneur Business Academy, and we actually just had a really interesting discussion with some of the ladies this past Sunday all about fears, and there were a lot of fears pertaining to this idea of accepting success and accepting more financial abundance. And I think from hearing a lot of their feedback and just from working in this industry for a very long time, I think there were two main things that kept coming up, two main themes. And they were this idea of perfection and the idea of rejection. Perfection and rejection. And so under the perfection umbrella, when asked, what are your biggest fears? What do you think is holding you back from getting to that next level in your business? There were a lot of comments about, I'm not expert enough. That was a big one. I'm not expert enough. I'm not, I don't know how to be vulnerable. I'm not sure what to say. What if people don't like what I have to say? Maybe I'm not ready to launch that big program, to do my first Facebook Live, to put myself out there in a way that positions me as an expert. And I know a lot of the women who we work with are in the health and wellness field, and so there is some level of a scientific background, and people feel very polarized about their opinions on what the best diet is and whatnot. So this can be a little bit tricky, but you're always going to have people that disagree with you, and that's just kind of the reality. So I think when we have this situation where we're faced with feeling like we need to be perfect before we pull the trigger, and feeling like, what if we fail publicly? Oh my gosh, what if everyone sees us fail? What if we launch this really this program that we've poured our heart and souls into, and then people don't like it, or people don't buy it, or it gets a bad review? What happens? What if? And if we really take ourselves into actually discovering and exploring the negative what if, and actually tangibly drawing it out and saying, well, what would that really look like? I think that piece of awareness can be really eye-opening for some people. Because a lot of times when we get into the state of I must be perfect before I take the plunge, before I take action, the only tangible thing that we really have is our emotional guidance scale. We feel not good. We don't feel in alignment when we have those thoughts. And it all comes back to this idea of saying, I can't have what I want. That's what you're telling yourself. When you're saying, people aren't going to buy my product, or people aren't going to watch my live videos, you're saying, the universe is telling me that I can't have what I want. And it doesn't feel good to you because it's not in alignment with your true being, with your source energy, whatever woo-woo stuff you want to dive into. And as far as you want to go with that, that's totally on you. But this is my take on it, right? This is where I come from. I love the law of attraction. And it really comes back to this, that there's a part of us that knows our level of greatness, the piece of us inside, your spiritual soul, whatever you want to call it. And it's that side of us that knows our true potential. And when we are speaking, when we are interacting with, when we are thinking things that do not align with our true being, it doesn't feel good. So always move towards good feeling things, good feeling thoughts, and recognize that when something doesn't feel good, it's because you're not in alignment, and it's not either the right decision, it's not the right direction, or you need to assess why you are starting to have these uncomfortable feelings come up, because you might be moving toward the right direction, let's say, for example, of launching a program, but if all those little negative feelings start to come up, that's really what's blocking you from getting to that next level of greatness. Yes, you have to trust your gut. We always say trust your gut. Well, your gut, a lot of people feel that's this whole middle section is your power section. If you go into the chakras, that's your soul, right? It's in your gut. And actually, there are, I forget exactly what it is, but inside our diaphragm and inside our gut, we have neural, I'm going to totally screw this up, science things, not my scene, but we have the ability to, just like in our brain, we have neural feedback that's happening down here and in our brain. That's the only other place in our body, in your gut. So when you say trust your gut, it's because it's actually giving you accurate feedback about what you do and don't want. So that's the idea of perfectionism, right? We get stuck, we get hung up in I must be perfect before I proceed. The second thing that might be preventing you from reaching that next level of financial abundance and success is the fear of rejection. When we spoke to a lot of the ladies about what was holding them back into taking that next step in the next level, it was a lot of fear-based things surrounding other people, that I'm afraid that other people are not going to support me. I'm afraid that the friends that I have, if I'm quote unquote rich in their eyes, that they'll want me to pay for things, that my mom will want me to pay her bills and take care of her, that I will be expected to pick up the check whenever I go out, that my friends will see me as different. Maybe you as an individual, you have different beliefs about people with money. What are people with money? What are they like? Maybe growing up as a kid, you knew some people with money and they were huge a-holes, and now you have this belief that if I become wealthy, I'm going to become a huge a-hole. I'm going to have to buy designer clothes. I'm going to have to do my full makeup every day. What are the things that you are telling yourself? What are the beliefs that you have about money? And why do you feel like people are going to reject you if you get money? Now, if you come from a family that's middle class or maybe impoverished, or maybe you have friends who are really struggling, when you start to get to that place in your life where you actually start having financial abundance, I'm not going to lie to you, there can be a little bit of resistance depending on the people that you've previously surrounded yourself with. Quite honestly and truthfully and giving full transparency, as I started acquiring more financial abundance in my life, I would hang out with certain people from my past, and the conversations that we would have pertaining to money, they would say things like, I just know I'm going to be broke forever, or I'm always going to have to pay bills. And there was a twinge inside me, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? A little twinge where I was like, that's not true. And I just wanted to smack the person and be like, no, that is a choice. Life does not actually have to be that way. If that's your decision to live in a state of a lack mindset, then I can't do anything to change this person. But if you're on this live video right now, maybe you are picking up what I'm laying down. Give me some thumbs up if you are. But it's this idea of, there are so many things that these false beliefs about money, that we're going to be rejected by people, that maybe you're not going to have time to spend with your kids if you have more money because you're going to be busier. You're going to be so much busier if you have money, you're not going to know what to do. Or maybe you've been really crappy throughout your life at managing money. So if you get money now, you're probably going to lose it all. Or if you get money now, well, I don't know where to invest it, and I've never had enough money to do all these cool, fun things with it. So this is all really scary and overwhelming. So I'm just not going to get money yet. I'm going to wait until I figure out how to do all this stuff. And there is some truth to that. There is some truth to the idea that, if you can't manage $500, you're not going to be able to manage $500,000. So if that is a fear or a block that you have, I think would be really powerful for you to actually start researching that stuff. And there's two really great books, one by Dave Ramsey, one by Tony Robbins, where they really teach you how to invest, how to really manage your money. And, a lot of times, this is a good one, sometimes people think that it is greedy to want more. Is it greedy to want more money? Or I've heard very often that people's parents say that you have to work really hard in order to make money. Does that feel aligned to you? I mean, maybe that is a belief that is in your gut, right? Does it really take that hard of work? Or can you find something that feels so perfectly in alignment for you, so perfectly in alignment, that it is not only fun, but extremely joyful and easy? Easy. Why does it have to be hard? Why? Because other people said that it's hard to make money? Because other people said that life has to be this struggle and we must grit and grind through it all? Where does that come from? And now that you're becoming aware of some of these thoughts and continuing to explore what these beliefs are and where they come from, you are now empowered to make the decision whether or not you want to continue to hold that belief, or if the belief does not feel in alignment for you, and then you can change the belief to, like we were just doing, something like, I have more than enough money to live happily and comfortably. I have more than enough money to give to all the charities that I want, to take care of my family without fear, or, whatever. Just start to rewrite these beliefs that you have and recognize that the words that you say, anything that you put out there, is what you are going to manifest. And no matter what area you look at, if you look at the spiritual side, law of attraction says thoughts become things. If you look at the personal development world, they say destination fixation. Whatever you focus on, that's where you go. So if you're riding a bike and you're afraid you're going to hit the curb, where do you go? You go right into the curb, right? If you look at psychology, they call it self-fulfilling prophecy, where you say, I'm going to be a failure, and then you're a failure. So this is not a new thought, right? This is something that kind of goes along all the psychology, personal development, law of attraction, spirituality. So recognize that, even if you don't want to accept it as more of a spiritual woo-woo kind of thing, modern psychology totally recognizes this as a full-on legit phenomenon, I guess you might call it, but whatever you focus on expands. And I'm sure you see it all the time. If you start thinking about really negative thoughts, you become depressed or you become anxious. It just piles on itself. And so we want to start to recognize where we are getting hung up on striving for perfection, or we want to recognize where we're getting hung up in terms of, why am I afraid I'm going to be rejected? Who's rejecting me? And I just want to add one important piece to this. If there are people who are in your life who are not necessarily 100% supportive of your entrepreneurial endeavors or whatever success you want in your life, I think it's sometimes difficult when it's close family and friends, people who, either you can't just remove from your life, or people who you really love. It's hard when they don't have your back in the way that you hoped that they would. But I think it's really important to recognize that no one else can create your reality except for you. If there are other people who are saying you should be more careful, you shouldn't go and try to be on Broadway because it's really hard, or you shouldn't try to build an online business because it's annoying, or whatever, there's a million scenarios, right? Realize that those people can have their opinions. Most of the time, for most people, it's from a place of wanting to protect you. So instead of just saying, why can't they just believe in me? Why can't they just see how badly I want this? First, ask yourself, well, where is this coming from? And if it's coming from a place of love and wanting to care for you and wanting to protect you, sometimes, we've all got the mom, the dad, the grandma who's just like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't go away to college. You should just stay home, stay in this nice little neat box where you can be protected forever, right? And though well-intended or well-intentioned, whatever, that's not always the best thing for you. And you are the only person to know what is best for you. So start to recognize who are the people who have your best intentions, who are the people who maybe are a little bit jealous, who are trying to knock you down a few notches so that they can feel better. Those are people who you may want to be more cautious of. Those are people who are not aligned with their own being, and they're coming from a lack mindset. They're looking at your success and saying, if she has success or if he has success, that means I can't have success, because if that person has success, there won't be any more success left, which is nonsense, because there is an absolute total abundance of success in a multitude of different ways and infinite possibilities for every person on the dang planet. So start to recognize those people and either have a real conversation with them or just start to distance yourself when it comes to those types of conversations. Talk to people. Yes, I love this. Talk to people who are where you want to be. So this really we're kind of expanding on this whole idea of surround yourself with like-minded people who actually support you, especially if you have an online business, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you work from home. This is not a lifestyle that people in your immediate community might not be on board with this, right? So you got to get connected in the online world with other people who are doing this as well, because, sometimes we, in our regular communities, we just necessarily don't meet those same types of people, right? So like I said, perfection and rejection, two huge, huge, huge things, and this lack mindset, right? That there's not going to be enough, that someone else is going to get jealous. This is what is blocking us from getting to that next level of financial abundance in business or just abundance in life. And I think when it comes to business, a huge, huge, huge thing that I want you to take away today is that if you are approaching your business from a place of fear and a place of, I got to get this next thing done. I've got to get this next thing accomplished. There's not enough time. Everyone else is ahead of me. What am I going to do? How am I ever going to catch up? If you're approaching your business with that kind of anxiety and that kind of fear, what kind of results do you think you are going to get? What type of product or content do you think you're going to produce? It's going to be kind of pushy, kind of fear-based, and people can sense that energy, right? So what we want to do instead is really simple. Have more fun. Have more fun with your business. I've worked with so many entrepreneurs, and you can tell the people who, and obviously there's ebb and flow to this, there's obviously moments where everyone is on that roller coaster and they're having a good time and they're in the flow and things are working, and then, maybe next week they're having a really tough time. That is completely normal. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. But I think it's really important to remember that when we start to get into that state of, am I enough? What is everyone else thinking of me? Am I expert enough? Will people like what I'm putting out there? What are my friends going to think when I'm making more money? I don't know what I'm doing. There's too many things that I have to get done. When we get into that state, creativity starts to suffer. Being authentic, being real on camera starts to suffer. And just everything in our lives, it's just this domino effect, because you're attracting, what you focus on expands. You're attracting that lack mindset. So whenever you get into that state, start focusing on having more fun. And if things that you're doing within your job, within your work, are becoming too stressful, it is 100% okay to just step back from that and go do something fun. Go for a walk in nature. Find out what the things are, and maybe write a list for yourself. What are the things that put you back into alignment? So if it's going to see a movie with your significant other, go do that. If it's going out with friends on the town, go do that. If it's just sitting in and watching Netflix for the night and just vegging out, do that. Find what that thing or those things are for you, and make sure when you're in those stages of really push, those big push stages in your business, that season of hustle, that you have a nice balance of doing fun things as well. Because if we get to that place where it's not fun, we burn out real quick. real quick. Yep, old lady alert. I'm such an old lady. I'm such a homebody. My ideal night is not like getting dressed up and going out on the town. Like, it's pretty hilarious because I get dressed up and done up to do video, and then I wash my face off and literally watch Netflix. Like, that's my veg out time, right? Like, I'm not about going out on the town. Total homebody. Yep, total introvert. I'm like, I gotta recharge. Yep. I love it. So I would love to hear, you guys had some great comments throughout this. But yeah, I mean, oh, my camera, what you doing, camera? Your garden, yes, I love it. Yes, abundance, there is enough. Ooh, what a good mantra. Love this. Yes. People, yep, Oh my gosh, I'm loving these comments. Yes, oh my gosh. Yes, Chelsea. WBA is helping her get over this. That is the Wellpreneur Business Academy that my business partner, Angie Lee, and I, oh my gosh, what in the heck is happening? There we go. My business partner Angie Lee and I, we run the program Wellpreneur Business Academy. It is a 3-month program for health and wellness entrepreneurs who want to go from social media to sales. So if you are interested in jumping in the January class, you can head to www.heyjencasey.com, Jen with one N, heyjencasey.com/waitlist, and you can sign up for the waitlist there, and we're going to be sending out all the details for the upcoming class that's happening in the new year. So that is what I have for you guys today. Oh, also, if you want to, you can head to heyjencasey.com and get my 5-day mindset challenge. So for those of you who are entrepreneurs who want a little bit more support in this arena, who need a little mindset kick in the butt, go check that out. You'll get emails with 5 different video trainings on mastering your mindset. So that is what I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for jumping on, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.